I'm gonna be completely honest with you right now. I just grabbed my camera. This video has no script at all, and this may be boring as hell. I was writing in my journal about certain things and certain topics that I've experienced for the past months and years, and I just thought, I'm gonna grab my camera, I'm just gonna talk to you, human being to human being. And if you used to watching these videos, like a lot of, dopamine hits, like music, effects, all that stuff, this video is not for you, and you can just go away and click another video that you want from Mr. Beast if you want. You'll probably be tempted to close the video in the next 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever that is. I promise you one thing. If you stay here with me and you listen to what I have to say, okay? The mental models, the paradigms, the identity shifts, I promise you this will be the most useful thing or video that you watch today or for the rest of the week or the rest of the month. I promise you, if you actually understand what I have to share here today with you, you will change your life. It might take you 1 month, it might take you 6 or 12 or 24 months, I don't know, but it will change your life. So this is something that I've experienced myself, and I've seen all the people going through the exact same process, the exact same mental models, right? And the exact same shift that you need to make in order to get to your goals. And I've experienced this myself personally for the past months, I would say like the past 1-2 years. Again, it's super essential that you keep your focus, you keep your attention on this. Really, this is in front of you for a reason. Call it the universe, call it God. You've probably already read it in the title. You gotta believe, bro. You gotta believe it. And this is not gonna be a typical motivational video where I'm gonna explain, you gotta believe David Goggins. I'm gonna go deeper and touching on psychological, scientific things and topics that relates to all of this. I'm gonna start this by actually telling you a personal story about this. I always had issues with personal confidence in friendships, in sports. Like many of you maybe know my story about soccer, football. Like I used to play in the academy here from Valencia. So Valencia is a big club here in Spain, and I used to play in the academy, but I was also in dynamics of second team and also training with the first team, right? Like the people that you see on the TV and all that stuff, right? Like the Ferraris, the famous people. So I was training with those people, being in their dynamics, but I was never able to get to actually playing in first division. And even on YouTube, I swear I've never been able to have that confidence I always wanted, right? Like I saw other people recording on the street full of people and talking super confidently, and then I was trying to do that myself and it didn't come off the same way. I realized that I was setting goals the wrong way. And most people do it this way. Most people do it wrong. Instead of setting goals I'm gonna lose weight, or I'm gonna try to lose weight, I'm gonna try to be the best marketer, I'm gonna try to be the best sales rep, why don't you start acting as if you were already that person? Why don't you start acting as if you were already confident in front of the camera? Why don't you start acting as if you already lost weight? I know it sounds simple, I know you heard dude, you gotta believe it, bro, all of that stuff, but there's a science behind it. When you truly understand the science behind it, you're you think damn, right? So that's what we're gonna cover right now, okay? But first, let's go to the psychological, scientific side of things. The brain simply does not understand what is a lie and what is a true, what is truth. I'm gonna repeat that again. The brain, your brain, simply does not understand what is truth and what is lie. So what that means is that if you're constantly repeating to yourself that you're bad at something, that you lack something, that things don't work out for you, eventually it becomes a reality. Even if you start saying that as a joke, even if you start saying that as you're not being serious about it, it will start becoming reality. You probably have this friend, if you have a group of friends, you probably have this friend where everyone makes fun of him, in a good way, you probably do it not in a malicious way, your friends, but you start saying to him the whole group starts saying to him, oh, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, and you go in that direction. The guy probably starts believing that and starts acting as if he is stupid, because now he created a belief and now he starts acting as if he was stupid, right? Or if he was a joker. Tell him a lot of times in the brain, the subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to reject information. So if you tell it a lot of times, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're gonna start actually believing it, and then when you believe it, you start acting that way. And let me give you a personal example of this. About 2 years ago, when I was starting doing high-ticket sales and all this stuff, I went through a period where I was watching this type of content, of self-belief content, self-help content kind of. But it was more oh, I'm working on my goals, I'm working on becoming better, but I'm still a loser. I don't know why, but it kept appearing in my feed. Well, I know why, obviously, because of the algorithm. Like, I kept clicking on those videos, so obviously they're gonna show me more. At first, obviously, it seemed like entertaining. Like, I was watching maybe 1 or 2 hours per day of this type of content, because maybe I felt I could relate to it, and I didn't see it as, oh, this is dangerous, right? Until I started feeling worse, right? And when I say worse, I don't mean like, oh, I'm sick in my bed. Like, I started to feel like I'm not enough, right? Like, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like, this is bullshit. And it was all because I was constantly repeating that message in my head. This is important, because how you experience reality, how you experience life, you have 2 ways of doing it. You have like a real experience, but when I say real, it's like, okay, you go to the street and you talk with somebody, and like, that's real. And then you maybe like replay that conversation that you have with this person in your mind. That's the second way that you can experience reality, right? So what I was doing is I was experiencing that reality of like, I'm a loser. I'm still a loser in my mind. And I kept repeating that thought pattern for like months, right? Like weeks, months, and like, that's the danger of it. So what I'm trying to say is that your brain will never distinguish what is true, what is wrong, what is truth, what is lies, or like anything. Like, it doesn't distinguish that. It just accepts information in the subconscious, especially. It cannot reject information. And I think I've heard this, like your life, basically, when you do decisions, I think 3% of them are conscious. 3 or 4%, I think it was, or 2 or 3%, something like that. And the rest are subconscious. And your subconscious cannot reject information. And if you create beliefs based on that, you're gonna act like that. So I know it's getting a little bit like deeper. I'm gonna explain all of this in a moment. So please, 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 always choose the positive. I know it sounds like, oh, Mr. Wonderful, be positive, positive thinking, all that stuff. I'm not saying it in that way. I'm saying it like, it will be hard and you will be tempted, especially if you have the bad habit, like for 20 years of thinking that way. Because shifting your mental models and shifting your paradigm, it's kind of leaving your current self. I want you to imagine this. I want you to picture this, okay? You have your current self and you have the desired self. Right now, your current self is this, and you have a sense of, like, a concept of yourself, basically, right? You think about yourself a certain way. And then you have this desired self. You have this desired person that you want to be. Most people live here, wanting to be here, but they're kind of in the middle. Like, some days they do the right thing, and when I say right, it's like in accordance, in congruency with what the desired self would do, right? And some of the days, you're acting as this. So most people live in the middle, and that's where your pain, your stress comes in, because you know you could be this, there's this potential that you could be, but you're here, and you're actually in the middle. But you're not like going all the way there. Shifting your mental models and shifting your paradigm and the way you're thinking, it's kind of living this. And this is what's comfortable, especially if you're 20 years old or if you're 30, 40 years old. Think about it, you've been thinking that way for 40 years old, like for 40 years. It's very difficult to change that. It's possible, but it's very difficult because you already created that habit. But little by little, if you follow what I'm gonna tell you in the next minutes, you will internalize this. You will internalize these thoughts, internalize these paradigms, these mental models, until the point where you no longer need to like force it. It will come out naturally. And I personally made this change last year when I started in high ticket sales and I wanted to get to 12K a month and pay a trip for my parents. Like, that was one of my goals. And to prove that, like to my point that I'm trying to articulate here, is I pay for the trip first before getting to 12K a month. Like, I remember I was between 6, 7, 8K a month for the past months, and I was like, I want to get to 12K a month so that I can pay the trip to my parents. That was the order. But what I did is I flipped that. I paid for the trip because I knew deep down, I believed that I was the type of person that would get to 12K a month. And I did that like about 3 weeks or 4 weeks before I actually got to 12K a month. Like, I paid for the trip before. And that's how you got to see yourself. Because I started acting like, okay, I'm already at that because I'm already that person. And all of this leads me to my next point, which is when it comes to setting goals, and this is a trap that I fell into as well, so please don't do it. Otherwise, you'll waste a lot of time, please. It's constantly repeating that goal every day. It's one thing to remind yourself of that goal and like knowing where you want to go because you need to have that direction. Another thing is like repeating that goal to yourself. Like, what if the very act of thinking, I want this goal, is actually keeping you from getting to this goal and pulling you farther away from it. Like, think about it. If I'm constantly thinking, I want 100K subscribers, I want 100K a month for my business, I'm putting signs, and it's kind of like sending signals to the universe that you don't have that. Or even worse, to your subconscious that you still don't have them. It's like constantly repeating to yourself, like, I want to lose weight, or I want to get to X, Y, Z. But again, coming back to what I was saying, like, you need to start acting as if you already had that, as if you already were confident, as if you were already losing weight, like you already lost it. And then based on that belief, you will start acting differently. And based on that, you will get the different reality, which is the reality that you want, not the one that you have right now. So what I want you to do is, instead of focusing on your goal, is you need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on changing yourself. And there's this mental virus in society that tells you you need to love yourself. You need to love yourself, you need to be authentic, you need to do this, right? But the very same person that society is telling you to love yourself is the exact same person that brought you to the reality that you don't want. So why would you love that person? You need to change that person. You need to change your identity. You need to change your sense of self, your concept of self, so you can get a different reality. That's what you need to focus on. Don't focus on getting the 100K a month. Don't focus on getting the XYZ result, right? That will come as you becoming the person in order to get there. Change the internal, and everything on the outside will automatically change, I promise you. And I'll be honest, I'm going through a difficult moment personally right now. Not in a sense of like everything is falling apart right now and I'm living under the bridge, like not in that sense. Difficult more in the sense of my company, my projects, what I want to do in the future, right? And it's super important to have these mental models, to have these paradigms in situations like this. Because if you can do it here, I think the law of attraction, all these laws act like 5x, 10x, right? Because if you could do it while you're living in, like a penthouse and you're chilling and you're making 100, 200K a month, and, like that's very easy. But when you're struggling, when you are in that moment and you apply this, it will magnify everything. Now, finally, the actual scientific side of things, right, that I was telling you about before. When you repeatedly tell your brain that you are this type of person, right, that you are XYZ person with XYZ identity, right, you start building neural connections. And at first, you would not believe it, right? When you start doing these things, these exercises, and again, if you want some of these exercises or some of these documents that I read every single morning, please comment on this video and I can just know. You can also reach out to me via Instagram, whatever that is, okay? But at first you will not believe it, but it's okay. Because if you know beforehand, like, it will be fine, right? It will take you a few days, it will take you a few weeks until you actually start believing it and until you actually start feeling it, right? Feeling the emotion. It might be hard to convince yourself and this concept of self that you have that you're a great athlete, or that you're confident, or that you're a good content creator, or that you're a good entrepreneur. It might not even come out naturally at first, right? Like right now, I'm even using this. I'm using this same mental model that I'm explaining to you to be in front of the camera and talking about these topics. This doesn't come out naturally from me. Like, I'm super introverted person, and for me to put myself in front of the camera and be talking about, the fact that I'm talking to a camera, that's one thing. But the fact that I'm talking about this in front of a camera, it's another thing. So I'm using the same mental models, but it's because I'm already at a point where I know how to train my mind and I know how to mold it. I know how to mold this identity that I have. Look, what you have to do is you have to repeat it to yourself every day. Whether it's you write it down, whether it's whatever, right? You need to write it down. You need to record yourself on video, even right now. Like, I'm recording this on video, and I will probably see this in like 6 to 12 months. I might think it's cringe, or maybe I think, oh, that's beautiful. But I'm recording it. I keep telling myself, I'm repeating it in my mind a million times. So that pattern and that neural connection, that neural pathway actually creates. Because again, from repeating it so much, that neural connection, that neural pathway will start to slowly consolidate. And something that I want to explore, and I know this might be a little bit like crazy, but it's mushrooms. Like, I heard mushrooms can create this neurogenesis, neural connections pretty easily, right? And it's something that I want to try. So if you know somebody, please let me know in the comments as well. But I want to do it like safely, obviously. Now, you will start to notice, or like maybe you won't even notice because it happens unconsciously that you have these thoughts, but like these thoughts, how can I explain this? Like, these thoughts that I'm really good at this, or I'm really confident, will automatically come to you and you won't even notice. Because like you're probably thinking, okay, so I started doing this and I changed my mind and my brain in my life in 2 weeks. It maybe takes like 6 months. It depends on your programming. It depends on what you believe to be true and what you believe to be wrong, whatever that is. You will come to one day and you'll be like, holy shit, I'm doing this thing. Like I'm recording in front of a camera and I didn't think this was possible 6 months ago. You will start having these thoughts and these actions that before it didn't align with that self and that image that you had about yourself, and now you start doing it and this will come automatically. Okay, so it's kind of weird in a way, but the most important thing is that you need time. Like most people do these type of things, or like I got this from this book, by the way, which is Reality Transurfing. I'm still reading it, but it's highly recommend this book to anyone that is trying to improve their life and see a different reality. And you need time. Like this is not gonna happen in 2 weeks. It's not gonna happen in 4 weeks. It's gonna probably happen in months. And this might even take years, because again, you're reprogramming yourself. You need to see yourself as a computer, right? Like literally. And you need a lot of time to do that, okay? So don't rush it. And you have no idea how hard it used to be for me to speak on camera. Like I couldn't even articulate, because English is not my first language, right? That's the first thing. But even the fact that like I just couldn't talk to the camera. I didn't know how. But I kept repeating myself like, okay, I'm good at communicating. I'm a good entrepreneur. I'm a good sales rep. I'm good at this. I'm confident at this and this and this. I'm articulate. I'm compendious. And then I started actually believing that, and I started acting that way, and I can do these things. Okay, so, but you need time for doing that, okay? And little by little, I started actually doing it, and I saw different results, right? So here's my final message for you. Don't wait for it. That's my final message for it. Don't wait for your goals. Don't wait for that. Start changing you right now. Start changing yourself, your identity right now, so that you can get that goal. Because if you have a goal and you've had a goal for the past 6, 12 months, 20 months, 24 months, whatever that is, and you're still not getting it, it's because you're still operating from that same frequency. You're operating from the frequency of your current self. So what you need to do, again, you need to change your beliefs. Because here's the thing, right? You have the beliefs, which create thoughts. Thoughts create actions. Actions create reality, right? What most people do is they try to change their thoughts, or they try to change their actions, which may move the needle a little bit. But again, you will always regress to the mean. You will always regress to your current self, because that's a law of nature, right? So what you need to do is you need to go to the cause. You need to go to the belief. You need to go to your paradigm, change that, change your identity, change your sense of self, and then everything comes naturally. You will start thinking naturally that way. You will start acting naturally that way, and then you will see a different reality. So that's it, Like one last thing I want to tell you before I go is that goal that you have, whether it's, get into 10K a month, get into 100K a month, or maybe it's, losing weight, or maybe it's be able to be more articulate, whatever that is, it's reachable and it's not impossible. You just need to change that. You have what it takes. Like you are already that person. Okay. So just remember that. Follow me on Instagram if you want more of this, or if you want to say something about this video, or you want some resources that I use, whatever that is. But that's it for today. So take care, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.